buttons, right? Okay.
Good morning. Welcome to the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. We got a great show for you. I'm Harvey Freed. We got a jam-packed audience. Right to the right of me, Becky Alley first, and then we'll go over to Harry.
Hi, we're sharing the ones and twos over here. If you're watching us live on Facebook, you just see Harvey and I passing that mic back and forth.
There's Harry Glanz over there next to us.
Good morning, everybody. Happy to be here. It's starting to turn a little bit. I know it's getting colder, but it's starting to turn warmer.
It's turning warmer, Harry. No doubt about
this
that.
Week.
And you guys, we'll even talk about it. You guys are going to the Red Wing game. That sounds really cool. Lisa Lawson, good morning.
Morning, everybody.
All right, the Google from our office. Lisa Lawson has tons of information to share with you, and she brings in these fabulous guests, Ed Brittingham and Patricia Irby. Did I get it right? Fantastic. Hey, Irby.
Good morning, everybody.
Yeah. All right. Hey, Remax Eclipse. You guys are out on the east side over there. You're okay
cool.
over there. Okay, yeah, he's rocking it.
I guess he thinks you rock.
You guys, welcome to the show. Great to see you back here.
Thanks for inviting us.
Glad to be back.
All right, we're going to talk all about mortgages and real estate, and we'll take your calls too. 248-539-9797. We said it doesn't feel good to report rates continue to hover around 7%. It's not the worst thing in the world. I'm starting to get a little busier, Becky. You're always busy. I'm getting a little bit busy, and there's some interesting things we're going to talk about this morning to make your process smooth and easy.
Yeah, I mean, the truth is that the consumer right now isn't really that concerned with the interest rate. You know, it's kind of settled in. Their mindset has relaxed a little bit. The 2020 rates, you know, I feel like you have those onesie twosies where they think they're going to come back down. But for the most part, our buyers are really educated. Buyers are becoming more and more savvy about the experience and what the expectations are, but they're also looking to start these conversations sooner. And, you know, we go right into rate. And to be honest with you, it's a very short part of it because anyone that is buying a house right now needs to know that the rate is a piece of it, but it's not the whole pie. And you can always select that house right now and then slide down when these rates do eventually come down. And that's the conversations that we're having. And that's what any high-end loan officer and real estate agent is going to have right now about these rates.
Yeah, as Pat and I talked about before the show, okay, people are going to move. People have to move. They want to move. They're going to move. So it's really irrelevant. When I say that, people are used to 7% rates. That they're not going down, and they're not going down anytime soon. Anybody who could sit here and look you in the eye and tell you that they know rates are going to go down, you have to run away from that person. It's just not true. It's not a true statement. Sooner or later, yeah, we're hoping maybe, but you know what? Hope is never a good strategy. So if you see a house that you like, Pat, Ed, take advantage of it because the inventory is going to remain low throughout this year at least.
And we have programs that really take rate off the table because we have something called the rate rebound. So if you purchase a house right now, within 5 years of closing, if the rate drops 0.5% or more, you can refinance with no lender fees and $1,000 credit towards third-party cost. So you have a no-brainer. I mean, why are you waiting? So even if you're like, I'm waiting for the rates to come down, because we do have a couple clients that say that, you're going to miss out on the house. And you wait 2 years, just like people have in the past. Now they're going to pay, $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 more for the house they could have got 2 years ago. And we could have refinanced into that lower rate. So don't listen to the fear mongers. Do what's right for you. Get into the house. And we can always get the rate where you need it to be later.
You can also do some other things to improve your situation, boost your credit score. So I wrote down a few extra things here. You could start saving a few extra dollars. You guys were doing the bridal show last week. We got that crazy home funded program where we're actually giving you $2,000 on top of your $1,000 gift that you could get from anybody who you might invite to your wedding. So we can talk a little bit about that. Maximizing your existing debt, minimizing it is what we're telling you to do. Don't open up new credit cards. Get your debts under control. Right before I run the credit report, I actually ran a credit report. I had to call the guy back and say, hey, why am I running this credit report for you if you got all this going on right now? And sometimes you're your own worst enemy. Becky, you always say, don't sabotage your own transaction.
Yeah, I agree. And I actually just put out a social media post yesterday about specifically talking about car leases because, people will clinch their pearls over like a $1,500 house payment while they're paying $1,600 in rent, for example. But yet they're going to go renew that lease, and you can't get a lease right now. Everything's $1,000, I feel like, because everything is floated up. So you don't hesitate to take that $1,000 a month car payment or that $600 car payment, and you're going to park it in someone else's driveway versus you really kind of dialing it in and getting a car that you can afford so you can park it in your own driveway. And these needs to be the conversations that we're having all the time. And the sooner we have the conversations, the better, because to Harvey's point, I'm up till, night, like 11 o'clock at night, looking at these pre-approvals. Lisa's been, having my back recently trying to fix some stuff, and we're looking at credit, and you don't know what you don't know. And sometimes it takes time to fix this. So if you find that house and then you have your credit pulled, you're already behind the 8 ball, because with the lack of inventory, you're going to lose, because you can't even really make an offer. And we're still trying to identify your perfect price point, and people already have accepted offers at that point.
Yeah, Pat and Ed, don't you require a pre-approval before you take somebody out?
Absolutely.
Yeah, take us through that process. Go with that.
They're like,
okay?
what? Of course.
Yeah. I mean, it's a must. They won't even look at your offer when they're getting 3 and 4 and 5 offers on a property. If you don't have that pre-approval, even a pre-qual, they'll set over to the side. Pre-qualification, they'll set it to the side. These people are pre-approved.
But all pre-approvals aren't created equal, are they?
They are not.
I mean, you've seen. Go ahead, Ed. I mean, let's tell some stories, or you can tell everybody. Everybody's listening. They want to know.
They are not. So just because you get a document from XYZ company saying that you're pre-qualified for a mortgage, and they don't do any of the work to verify the information, and when you find out after your offer's already been accepted and you're going through the underwriting process, and then find out that you are not qualified for that home, that's the worst news to give to somebody, because guess what? They're out of that game, and they're waiting.
And they've usually invested their time and their money. They've usually paid for home inspections that they can't get back. They may have paid for an appraisal. They've put down an earnest money deposit that hopefully that is refundable. But this is, we're messing with people's financial livelihood, and you have to take it seriously. And I know Becky does, and I do. Mm-hmm. We don't give a pre-approval until we have all the documents. And sometimes everyone's like, well, I gave you everything but pay stubs. Well, that's one of the most important things. Yes. And while we wait, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm like, I can willy-nilly all I want, but often, I gave you everything but bank statements. Well, I need to know how much money you have to work with. So everyone thinks that, getting 80 to 85% is enough. It's not. Because I promise you, the minute we issue a pre-approval and you send me a bank statement with $4,000 and you're trying to buy a $400,000 house, and you're going to be like, well, I didn't know I needed that much. I'm going to be like, well, when I explain to you, these are the types of things, it all of a sudden, it's bad, right? We're losing money. We've wasted people's time. They're heartbroken. They're mad at us. That's so important to get your ducks in a row.
Yeah, the bottom line
in this case,
is,
your ducks.
After all these years, it's still going on, and I can't believe it. I shake my head. I don't understand how somebody can buy a house with no money in the bank.
Because there's bad players out there.
It's amazing to me. And how, and you as realtors on the front end, you see that you're getting these letters from these institutions, and it's, to use our term, it's all willy-nilly at that point in time, right? Mm-hmm. It's nothing. You have zero in your hand. They can't qualify. But as we like to say, you're going to drag somebody down 2, 3, 4 weeks in the mortgage gauntlet and not know that they're going to be approved. That's why we do the work up front. That's why Harvey, Lisa, Becky, myself, everybody, we do the work up front.
Well,
and then it's done. And then you fill in the pieces.
Yeah, and I wanted to bring up something that Ed was saying, because it is true, right? And at Capital Mortgage Funding, and I'm saying this for all of us with great humility, I know that we all pick up 2, 3, sometimes 4 deals a month just because they're falling apart somewhere else, because someone did not do the due diligence. And so when they come to us, we're now picking up the pieces. And I have someone that was approved through a broker. They don't have the same kind of down payment assistance programs that a direct lender like ourselves have. There was an appraisal shortfall. The buyer couldn't bridge the gap, so they reached out to me and said, can you save it? And we're looking at it, and we're able to negotiate concessions, $2,000 in concessions, to fix that gap that I couldn't bridge for this buyer that had zero money, because someone told them that they could buy a house with zero out of pocket, and that was never going to be a reality ever. Luckily, we're going to be closing this month, or next month, I should say, but you have so many individuals that are running around with pieces of paper, but the real injustice is they don't know.
They get
the buyer
misinformation.
doesn't know that they really are not properly pre-approved, and it's too late. So that's where I'm very empathetic to that, and to the professionals in the industry.
So how would they know? Okay, 20 years ago, people moved every 6.5 years. Now it's double that. People are moving right? You're shaking your head at it. They're moving every 12 years right now. Okay, so how would you know if in a lifetime you go into this transaction once or maybe twice? So they're not getting the proper education up front. It used to be they're moving every 6. Now it's every 12. So again, how would they know? Listen, all I say, Harvey had an interesting circumstance happen this week. Harvey, tell everybody about
I don't know if we're going to go there. We got a break coming up here.
Yeah, the new kind of credit, the new kind of debt, the new kind of layaway. People are buying things and they're paying later. Well, it used to be on layaway. You'd walk in a store, you'd give $50 down.
Kmart layaway.
You would pay as it goes, but then you wouldn't get the stuff until after you paid. Now people, I know we're going to break. Now people are getting the stuff, and it's creating a debt on their mortgage application.
I'm glad you brought it up here. We are going to talk about Afterpay and this Klarna. These are apps and ways that you can purchase things, but it could affect your mortgage. There's a lot of things that could affect your mortgage. When we come back, 248-539-9797, all those calls. Good morning. Welcome back to the show. It's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show, brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. We are, of course, powered by CMG Home Loans, NMLS 1820, Equal Housing Lender. You can call us at Capital all week long at 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. I started the show talking interest rates. How about some great news about rates? They're 1 full percent lower really today than they were in October, Harry, and that's a lot. That's a huge amount. Hey, if these rates go down, Pat and Ed, if they go down another percent, could you imagine all the buyers that are going to come out this spring with the nice weather just around the corner?
They're on the sidelines right now.
All that
waiting.
competition.
More.
I'd rather get in before the competition. Doesn't that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Because if they go down, which let's just say they will, I don't believe that the interest rates in full will make people come out and buy homes. I believe people are going to come out and buy homes because, as Pat and I said,
They want to buy homes.
they want to buy homes.
But there are some people
That's
sitting on the sidelines. 'cause
So
they
what's
listen
going to
the
happen is the inventory isn't going to pick up. So all the people that come out when it hits April 1st or March 21st, whenever spring officially arrives in Michigan, they're going to be behind the eight ball because they're going to be lined up on that runway with all the people that are already in the game doing it, Becky. And it's just going to create more problems for them.
Correct. And to that point is they're already, like, even in the dead of winter, right? Even though Michigan, we've been having some very mild winters lately. I have two on my desk right now that one's 20,000 over asking and one's 30,000 over asking. So it obviously depends on the pockets, but even though we're in the dead of winter, people are still going into certain, price points in certain markets very overpriced. And at this point, if you're in January and February and that's happening, it is only going to accelerate in the spring market. So the point is that we are going to see a little mini 2020. The rates, I think they're going to move a little bit, not a lot, maybe towards the end of the year, but it is going to be very accelerated. So as a lender, we might pick up a couple of refis. Like I think I have quite a few this month right now as far as refis, because people are wanting to pull money out, cash out the things, but we're going to pick up more refis. But this purchase market is going to be absolutely bananas, and you have to be in alignment with an amazing real estate agent to be successful.
1,000%, Becky. I was losing you. We're sharing a microphone here. One of the things too, and I think Ed and Pat, you guys will talk about this a little bit. I think you don't know what you don't know. So Becky uses this all the time. So you don't even know what that $250,000 or $300,000 house looks like. So I do like the idea that you're able to get out there now in the marketplace today. Get out there, get your education behind you. If you go out in April, that's when April and May, there is no, hey, I got to call my parents. They need to come back out and look at this. No, that's game over. You've got to be in a position to make an offer and be confident about it. Now, again, if your offer is accepted, now you can do your due diligence. If your offer is not accepted, you're not in the game. You're not going to get that house. Continuously renting is going to cause you nothing but heartache. Boy, Becky, renters are just missing out on all this great stuff. My young couple, 25-year-olds, they're buying a house. The fenced-in yard. I was just said to them yesterday, I'm like, yeah, you guys have a dog? They're like, oh, yeah, the dog's going to love the house. And that's what really makes home ownership so much fun.
Yeah, I mean, we're changing people's lives, and they're changing their own lives, really. We're helping people change their own lives, right? And it doesn't matter. If you look at the nation's history, it is always home ownership is the way to go. Oh, yeah. Speaking of home ownership, we have a call. We got Henry from Flat Rock. Hey, Henry, how you doing?
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morning. How are you?
Great.
Hey, now I own a home now, but I inherited a house from my parents after they passed. Now I am going to take over their house and sell mine. Now, is there like closing costs on that stuff, or how does that end up working out?
Are you talking about when you sell yours?
Not after I sell mine, but when I move into theirs, I got they
well, if
have
it's
a quick
inherited
claim
and
deed.
you're on the deed, you own it. There shouldn't be anything.
Yeah.
Just record it.
Oh,
How was that transferred to you, Henry? When they passed away, were you in there? Was there a will? Was it passed down to you? Was there a probate? I mean, how was it transferred to you?
They had a quick claim.
There you go.
So you own it.
Set up.
Good.
You own it.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Is this house free and
between
clear?
All the kids. Yeah, it's all free and clear through all the kids. But they, they're waiving their rights, and they want me to have it. So.
Well, that's very nice of them.
Yep.
Yes. If you're on the deed, you have ownership. There is no closing or anything that you need to worry about.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
And to take it a step further, because you inherited the property, there would be no seasoning. You actually could refinance if you wanted to. Let's just say if you needed to fix up the house, if it's been, just sitting a little bit, no one's really maintained it, you do have the opportunity to do a cash out refinance because there is an exception because it was an inherited property.
Mm-hmm. Or if you're going to sell your house anyway, you could do it after you get those proceeds.
What? And I'm thinking too, Lise, where you can take this, Henry, is if you do sell your house, of course, you'll have a qualified real estate agent. We'll try to refer you to someone after the show. So I'm glad you left your number here, Henry. But no doubt, you maybe just want to make sure that you're going to pull the homestead exemption off your old house, and then you'll put it on the new house. There's a couple of due diligence things.
Super important.
But having qualified agents and some people in your life here will make that easy for you. What else, Henry? What else is going on down there in Flat Rock?
Now I do owe, I don't know, a lot of money on my home I'm in now. Now, would I be able to transfer that over to the other house, or I'd have to pay this house off?
Yep. So when you sell that house, that will be paid off. You
That
can't
mortgage
transfer
will
debt
pay.
between property.
Okay.
So when you
Okay.
sell it, it'll get paid off. You'll make the rest of the money in proceeds after. You will have closing costs when you sell it.
Yeah.
And so things like that, but you will get the check for everything that's left over.
Yes.
Okie-doke.
Yeah, so we'll make sure after the show we'll get you in contact with Pat and Ed here. Make sure you're set up so that way you know what the steps are to actually list the house, and then make sure that the transition from one home to the other is seamless. It sounds like they did everything the right way.
Yeah, it does. Yep. But just make sure that when you move into your new property to file homestead, so you get that break on your property taxes. That's super important.
Boy, guys, that quick claim deed can solve a lot of problems. You know,
So many.
248-539-9797. Tell us what's going on in your life. Maybe we can help you save some money, too. You got to get probate attorneys involved. Again, this can really...
you do. But then I would also suggest, after he's all done selling his house, he's in the other house that he's got, that he inherited, to make sure the title is proper, okay, that he's in title properly. So it sounds like he's got a great family situation. They relinquished all their right to it. They're giving it to him. They probably signed some documents, or if they haven't, it doesn't matter. He's going to get it, and then he's going to be named entitled to that house solely. So that's it.
All right, we take your calls here, 248-539-9797. We also throw in cash out refinances. Becky mentioned she's got a few of them. It's real popular now. Why? Because people are buried in debt. Again, the last couple of years have really bitten some people hard. You got to make sure, we talk about the car payments are a lot more. Well, if you watch the commercials even on TV, now the car payments are up. You need $2,000, $3,000, $4,000 down, where I used to walk in and say, hey, I'll lease the car zero down and I'll see you in 3 years. Those days are gone. A little bit more money. The cost of everything's just costing a little bit more. What can you do to save money? And some of these things are like just having the proper knowledge and information. I'm always looking. I'm the guy I love Waze on my. I always need to know where I'm going. I used to stop like at every gas station. I'd be in Florida and, hey, I know Disney World's right around the corner here. I could see the Magic Mountain, but I couldn't get there. So I'm always looking for some additional knowledge. Same with your housing. Again, if you're going to inherit a house, if you've got some parents that are getting a little older, give us a call for a small amount of money. I mean, just to record a quick claim deed, you're talking less than $50.
Yeah, I mean, it's all about, again, we talk about it. It's that education piece, having the conversations. We have a lot of home buyer seminars that we do. Lisa and I are going to be doing one actually
next month.
Yeah, next month. Talking about, it's going to be strictly Mijda educating even the real estate side on these first-time home buyer programs, because the more the agents know, the more that they can help their buyers, because the truth is that a lot of these transactions start backwards. They start with you, and then you got to kick them to us. They find the house, and then they want to talk about the financing, when in reality, it needs to start with a qualified loan officer at a qualified high-end mortgage company that knows what they're doing, because you do yourself a disservice when you start backwards.
You guys do yourself a disservice, not only for yourself, but for your buyer, because the buyer, you have to have that conversation with them to explain the process. And the key part of the process is getting pre-approved.
Yeah, starting besides all that, really just even going out there and looking at the houses and figuring out, hey, where can I live? That's why I actually brought it up. I'm going to be out at Lot of View, Riverside Woods, way out there in Chesterfield Township, right around the corner from you, Lise. Little ways from me. I love it out there. I'm going to go out and check out. We're going to do a little open house tomorrow to new construction. These are brand new condominiums, duplexes, starting at $349,000. Anchor-based schools, really good school district. But it could be just more of a retirement home, just a gorgeous place to live. As we're looking for more inventory out there, new construction comes into this marketplace, and you've got to learn, is there something out there that might fit your budget? Clearview Homes and a lot of local builders are really starting to pick up a little bit. You're starting to see some more subdivisions, some more holes, some more permits being pulled, and hopefully that'll help out the inventory a little bit. Find out if new construction can help you. We do that all at Capital Mortgage Funding. Whether you need the end loan for your new construction or a construction loan, be sure to call us at Capital Mortgage Funding.
Yeah, for years and years, everybody's asking about new construction loans. We do them. We do draw loans. We do the end loan. We do the whole process. Okay, we have an all-in-one program. You can take care of it with us at the same time that you go in. You got to have the plans and specs. We got to talk to the builder. We got to make sure that they're going to build a home. We have to know the time frame, how many draws are going to be set up. So we have the program. Everybody was asking for it. We have it now.
Yeah, new construction is in hopes to fill that inventory gap, right? I actually get a lot of calls right now for land. Like, oh, do you do land loans? And that's something that, like, that's separate, right? It's got to be included in the new construction, the land.
Can't buy vacant land.
Yeah, because we can't foreclose the grass. We're not going to go there and, like, cut all the sod out and take it. So we can't do the land loans, but we do have individuals that we can refer, right? At this point in our careers, we know where high caliber people are to actually defer this kind of this knowledge. But there's a lot of people looking to get land and they want to put like a manufactured home on there
or build in 3-5 years. They just want to get the land now. You know, there's a lot of different.
So they asked the magic question: can I build the house myself and get this type of
if
loan?
you are a general contractor who is licensed and insured.
The answer to the question is you need a general contractor that's licensed and insured.
So if that's you,
so there it is. Yeah,
and you are
can
that
do
person. Yes, you can. But
Yes.
other than that, you cannot.
Or
Our
you hire it
criteria
out,
could
yeah.
get a little bit tougher, but right now, again, the short window of opportunity out there where if you've only built 1 or 2 homes and your license is ready to go, we're ready to help you. 248-539-9797. We come back, all your calls. Welcome back to the show, 931. If you're just joining us, it's the Hardcore Mortgage Real Estate Business Show brought to you by Capital Mortgage Funding. I'm Harvey Freed, Becky Alley, Harry Glanz, Lisa Lawson. We're all from Capital, and of course, Patricia Irby, and of course, Ed Brittingham. Ed, I know your name. Thank you. Remax Eclipse. I know all those guys at Remax Eclipse.
Hey, Harvey, apparently a lot of people are watching, listening to the show. Becky's phone's blowing up. Mine is. All the Berkeley Bears former athletes there.
Great.
You guys are laughing
you can
right
drop
now.
It here. Yeah,
you know, they're all in their mid-60s now, Harvey. They think they could still do it, but, you know,
a down year for Berkeley basketball here? I don't know if you want to go there right now. Is it a down year over there? But you guys are next year. You're coming back.
It's okay.
Okay.
It's all right, you know.
Give kudos out there. Again, that's really the fun about really home ownership. And, you know, people my age, and then we had our kids go through the high school programs and stuff. And Becky, you even get it with, I know one of your neighbors, Sean, down there, his kid played baseball at Woodhaven. I mean, like home ownership to me is all about that. It's about the local high school, going to the games, really the community and the sense of community that it brings us all.
Yeah, I mean, right now, like, I think there's more travel than it is like local. But then when you get to the, high school sports, it's important to, give your children that sense of community and belonging. And, I was always an athlete, obviously, like this is a sports sports station. So, sports develop you as a person, and if you can't be a coachable as an adult, it's a problem. You obviously be always learning. And if I'm the smartest person in the room, I want to get in a different room. And right now I'm not the smartest person in the room. I'm in the room with a lot of amazing people that help elevate me and my skill set every day. And that's why I'm very blessed. And we're all very blessed to have this platform to give you this consumer advocacy, if I could say that word right, because there's so much misinformation out there. And, when you're on the internet and you're clicking a bunch of buttons, like we talk about it, it's Harvey's biggest pet peeve is you can't diagnose yourself on WebMD, right? Like it's like if you say you're a narcissist, everyone's a narcissist, but you see, well, WebMD says I'm not, right?
There's a lot in that statement right there. You mentioned Harvey's name, WebMD, and narcissism, all in the same sense. But anyways, so it is a consumer advocacy show, and because we're all consumers and we're all looking for great information,
and we want to make sure people get the right information.
Right, and if you heard us, and we've been doing this 24 years on this station, and if all we try to do is give the best advice for you, for your situation, for the time that we're in. If you remember back in 2008, 2009, 2010, we told people you have to stay in the house. Don't let your payment go. Don't go into foreclosure. It's not a great idea. Now, in 2024, we're telling people you got to buy that house now because there are so few homes on the market. Don't wait. So we're trying to give the best advice for the time, for you, for your situation. And really, that's what it's all about. And Becky put it perfectly. We elevate our game every day. We might not be the smartest people in the room, but we'll find them. And remember, there's an old saying, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. So we'll check it out for you. We'll get it done for you. And we've always made it happen for people. And we'll get you into that new house.
What makes someone a highly educated person, in my opinion, is knowing what you know, knowing what you don't know, but then finding the people that know the answers to what you don't know. And that's when you take everything to the next level. So even if we get these difficult calls, we've seen a lot in our years in mortgages, right? You've seen a lot in your years of real estate, but sometimes there's that one-off situation where you're like, that's a little unique. Let me dig a little bit deeper and let me find that information. So it's a rarity at this point, which, I'm very, we're all blessed. But when those one-off situations do come up, we're able to, get through that. Like we just had an amazing exception just come through for us over a foreclosure and a bankruptcy, or a bankruptcy and a foreclosure happening after a bankruptcy. And the deal was denied at another lender. They came to me and they said, Becky, can you do this? And I said, I don't know. Let me look at this. This is a very unique situation. There's a lot of moving parts. I'm in it to win it. But give me the space. Can I have the grace to figure out if we can do this? And we took it, and we just got the exception approved. And that's a beautiful thing, because now instead of him losing out on this offer, we're now going to be able to close this out.
That's awesome.
That's a really good one. It's like gutsy a little bit of years ago. It seemed like, home values were going through the roof at. So we're going to get to this advice that you guys give, this great advice you guys give. But no doubt, it was like likely values went up about 8 to 10%. Really in 2020, we'll say 21, 22, definitely 23. It didn't seem like it was the right thing to do. Overpay $20,000 to $30,000 for a house. Your parents are like, hey, well, the rates are real good. It was the right thing to do. What's the right thing to do now, Ed? Tell us, Pat. What is the right thing to do now?
The right thing to do now is to get out there. Get out there, see what's available in the communities that you like at the price point that you're looking at. Take a look and see what that money offers you in that community. Then you can narrow it down to better. So either go to another community, you realize that that's not what you want in the price point that you can afford. Take the time, but get out there and take a look.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of people that are selling right now, and they're going to start selling more because as the rates kind of chilled out, they're going to unlock those golden equity handcuffs that they've, kind of bound themselves to. But a lot of people bought in 20 and 21. They bought just to buy. They, like, oh, you're standing in line, so I'm going to stand in line with you, and I'm going to win just because you're going after this house. I want what you want, kind of thing. And they bought in areas that were more rural, and now they have to come back to work. I mean, so life is always evolving and always changing. And I feel like we are going to see a little bit more inventory, but with the amount and influx of buyers, it's just not enough.
Yeah, a lot of inventory might come back. However, there are companies that have instituted a come back to work rule at least 2 or 3 days a week. So people, as Becky said, they moved out. They moved out to wherever they were living and working remote, or going down to West Palm, Harvey, or Naples, or wherever they went, so they could work in Michigan. I got to tell you something. If your company has a call back to work order and you got to be there 2, 3, 4 days a week, you might rethink it. So it could happen that way. But again, I've got the title company community reaching out to us. Gunny from Title Connect says, hey, he wants to come on the show. So yeah, there's a lot of people that listen to the show, and it's because I believe we give the proper advice. All right, we're not telling you to do something if you can't afford to do it. We're not pitching a certain product. There's no product du jour for everybody. All right, so if you want to go back and listen to the archives, I believe that between Lisa, Harvey, myself, John Kolb, our entire staff, we give the proper advice for you as an individual.
I got lots of topics I want to go over here, and that's good stuff. Again, you might be buying a vacation home if you're thinking that this is something you want to look at, or even on the lakefront. I think out in Novi, even they have the Cottage Lakefront show going on this weekend. There's a little plug for them. Definitely, you got some due diligence here. And one of the things is we do surveys when the property's on the water. So again, if you're buying a lakefront property, even if your lender doesn't require it, just something you might want to think about, especially if it looks like there's some building or some outbuilding near the water's edge that could be blocking your view. You just don't know what you don't know. So again, surveys are good for especially stake surveys if you're going to be putting up some fence lines to understand your property lines, understanding the easement. Also, site condos. I wanted to throw this information. Our homes here, and the subdivision I lived in last was a site condominium. Really single family homes. They're not really condominiums, but there's these bylaws, and I threw it out there. There's certain playground sets. You could not go with the old fashioned ones that we grew up on, Harry. The old fashioned metal ones that you basically would kill yourself on. That's a whole other story. But again, find out what the requirements are, Ed. You see it all the time, especially in Macomb. You guys have so many new construction subs still.
So many site condos in Macomb.
And then they're all site condos too. And then
it helps them develop it faster. There's a reason that is. It's not like the city, the county said, hey, let's make some site condos. It allows for faster development to get these units up quicker, right? I mean, that's really where it came from.
It was part of a Plat Act in the 1980s. If anybody wants to know the historical.
Go on, Harry.
It's over.
I'm not doing it. And there's a lot. And I live in Macomb.
Boring.
I live in Macomb County, in the city of Macomb. And yes, there's a lot. But if you're the kind of person who's like, I want to put up a fence, I want to XYZ, I want
pool,
I want
fence,
I want a deck and a patio.
Right.
You have to make sure there's certain sizes made of certain material.
And you have to make sure that you're okay with that when you're moving into that subdivision.
Exactly.
So these are things that your agent is going to help you find out.
So Lisa, what happened? So I've been living in my house for 31 years. I live in a neighborhood that was platted as a site condo. I can't put up a fence. I have a dog, big dog. Can't put up the fence. Yeah, can't put up the fence. So, from time to time, I want to push it. I'll say to my wife, let's put up the fence anyways and see what happens. But you can't do it. You just can't do it.
So your association usually can make exceptions. And even in my own subdivision, we have people with in-ground pools. They won't allow an above ground. But if you want a pool, it has to be in-ground. And we have exception, and they all have fences. So it doesn't mean that every association, it's going to depend who's on your board, who's living in the sub.
Who your neighbors are.
Even the color of the house. Like I have a friend of mine that lives in Macomb, and she painted it like that nautical blue, and everyone literally their face melted off in the association because she missed that clause in the bylaws, and it was like huge issue.
Did you have to repaint it?
They did give an exception, but everyone is gasping because it's not the standard beige.
So now everybody's going to do it now.
Yes, everyone. Yeah, so now everyone's going to be nautical blue out there. But to that point, you have to look at those bylaws, and if you don't like reading, then you need to make sure your real estate agent
is willing to read it for you.
Not only condos, it's in homeowners associations as well.
Right.
All right, guys, we're up against our third break. When we come back, we're going to discuss a little bit more about USDA loans, some other zero down programs, VA, and a whole lot more. 248-539-9797. Keep it here. Welcome back to the show, 9:45. Hey, the sun is shining. It's gorgeous out there. We got Red Wing hockey coming up. You guys are going to the game.
Yeah,
That's
Becky
going to be
and I will
fun.
be at the game. We're invited there by some realtor friends of ours, and it'll be fun. We're sitting right on the glass, and we're going to, I don't know if you watched the last game. Red Wings won in overtime.
It was like a playoff game, man.
A great play against the Avs. The last play of the game where they scored the goal in overtime was phenomenal. The way they
buddy
set it
Patrick
up.
Kane, he's a friend of mine. He's probably down in the locker room listening to this.
It was, he told me about you, Harvey.
Yeah.
He said, Harvey Freed's a friend of mine.
Yeah.
He did mention that.
Yeah, I'm friends with most of the guys around town like that. 248-539-9797. I'm going to throw out USDA real quick, and then we're going to go to that listing you have, Pat. Let's talk about it. You get the house is there. It's on the market. But USDA, again, if you're listening to the show and you live in the outskirts of the counties, the Tri-County area, those are also USDA loans, rural development areas. Becky got Livingston County, Genesee. These are all 100%. The rest of the state is all USDA. Income limits have come up a little bit. I love the loan. It's a zero down program, 1% funding fee tacked onto the loan. Becky, I'm not going to give all the details. It's a winner.
It is a winner, but you have to, not only do you have to qualify, but the property has to qualify.
Correct.
And it's 100% financing, so it's zero down, but that doesn't mean zero out of pocket. A lot of times you have septic well on these properties. You have to make sure you're doing the correct inspections, make sure you don't have the arsenic in your water and the things. But it is an amazing program. And what's cool is that there is nothing that we really can't do at Capital Mortgage Funding between home equity lines of credit. I'm doing one for a client of mine that lives in California. So whatever your financial needs are, give us a shout because we will find it. Because like Harry always like to say, it's not soup du jour. It's individual programs to help your individual needs. And we love what we do. So we're going to go off to our call, probably our last caller of the day. Bill from Belleville, what is up?
Hi, how are you?
Hi, Bill.
Hey, Bill.
I am in a little town of Willis outside of Ann Arbor, 23 Willis Road. I bought my house about 17 years ago. It was an old farmhouse that's been added on and added on. I've done some recent upgrades. I recently retired, January 1st.
Congratulations.
Thinking about selling
Yay.
the place. It's too big for me and move.
Okay.
I'm just wondering, is it worth me upgrading my home and then selling it, or just get an assessment of what my home is worth? That way I could put that money towards my new home.
On this one, we're going to defer
Yes.
to our all-star agents in the house. What say you?
Bill, what I recommend is you schedule an appointment where we can come out and actually meet with you and see your property. Because there's no blanket yes or no for that question. That's a great question, by the way. But there are some instances where it's better off for you not to do any upgrades. Because face it, when people buy a house, they're going to do upgrades that are going to meet what they're looking for and what they're looking to do. So to save you money and time, it might not be necessary.
Like painting,
I had this huge
carpeting.
kitchen. I've done travertine. I have redid the bathroom in marble. But there's
Sounds gorgeous.
living room, other places that need to be upgraded. And I was just wondering if I should do that or not.
Yeah, living room is usually like a paint and flooring, and those are usually the things that you are not going to get your money back on.
Yeah, you
That's
gotta look
what I
at your
figured.
return on
Hardwood
investment.
floors or carpeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like your house has been extremely well maintained over the years. So obviously we have our agents reach out to you after the show, but you don't want to over improve, right? So like I over improved my own house, but I know I'm staying there, right? Because that's for me. But if I know I'm going to sell my home, I'm probably going to reconsider some of the things I'm going to be investing. So we're going to reach out to you, get you set up properly, see what it's going to look like when it's going to list, and then we can always give you a call as well to make sure you're going to be properly pre-approved for when you're moving on or however that's going to work if you do decide to take a mortgage on.
That was a good question, though, Bill.
Yeah.
That was
Thank you.
fantastic.
Yes, I'll take a little one out. I'm going to put most of all my money to the next house, but I'll have a little mortgage, just a little one.
There
That's
you go.
all right.
I do a
idea.
little mortgage. I
Yeah,
do
we
a
all
little
do.
mortgage. I can take that.
Good
Thanks for
planning.
the call, man. Thanks, Bill. 248-539-9797. Let's go to caller Mike out there in Detroit. Hey, Mike, what's happening?
Hi, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
I've been looking at homes out in rural areas for the past couple of years, and last week I found one and went out to look at it. And on the way out there, I saw the start of a very large development. And so I pulled over. I talked to the contractor. I said, "What are you guys building out here?" He told me that it was a solar farm. And I thought, well, that's not too bad. My question is, how do I find out within maybe a 5-10 mile radius of where I do want to live, what the plans are for the area where I'm going to live? For instance, the house I looked at, it was a great area, and across the street was a large cornfield. But how do I know whether the farmer who owns that is going to sell, and or what the city or township or village would allow to be built in that 10-mile radius?
Yeah, you don't know what the people who own the property are going to do with them in the future. There's no crystal ball for that. But what you can do is you can go to your the city, the township, the city planning commission, and you can go ahead and you can ask them, because that's public information. So you can go there to whatever city, township, whatever it is. You go to that municipal office and you ask them, say, so what are the plans between Maple Street and Elm Street, and you ask them, and they will give you that answer.
If you're looking to move out to the country and then all of a sudden you find out they're building an amusement park in your backyard, that's going to be a problem.
But there is. I mean, like, you'll know when. Like, I just did it when I bought my house. I knew what roads were.
Farm is. Like,
Yeah.
like living in silos.
Hey,
Right.
Mike, where were you looking? Mike, where are you out? Where are you looking at? Where were you at? What cities?
Actually, the house was in Parma.
Yeah, I've heard of Parma.
Just northwest of Jackson.
Yep.
And really nice place, really nice lot, 5 acres wooded. Again, I saw that development. Then, like I said, when I found out it was a solar farm, okay, it's not going to stink, it's not going to make noise, but across the street, I'd hate to find out later, they're going to build a mass-produced chicken farm or something.
No, so anybody who has to, they have to propose a development. There's a development proposal in with the city or township, and then they have to disclose that to you. So it's all public record, public knowledge, and public has to be aware of what's going on in that community.
You can review and everything.
Sure,
Mike, I love the call.
Okay.
I love the call, man.
That's pretty sweet, throwing that knowledge on us, Mike.
Okay, yeah, well, thank you guys for that.
Thank you.
I'll do that. I'll go to the planning of wherever I end up.
There
Thanks
you
a
go. Be
lot.
careful of those chicken
All
farms.
right, I'll call you for that USDA loan on that place. Thank you. Thanks for calling in. 248-539-9797. There's always a fun call out there. And again, people are looking to maybe get away from this. Everyone's got a different agenda. Some people moving to the city, some people moving out.
But they do have an agenda.
Yes, they do have an agenda.
There is an agenda.
Yep. Some people want the walkable, the walkable cities. Some people don't want the neighbors. I don't think I personally could live without neighbors. I like to be able to see people. So I'm more of a social
And I'm the
creature.
opposite. I've had no one live behind me my whole entire life. So we built our house. Everyone's like, "What about this lot?" I was like, I don't want to be able to see in somebody's backyard. I've never had that.
I'm surprised you didn't buy all that.
I have nobody in my backyard here.
There you go.
I have woods behind me.
Speaking of backyards, I'm going to brag on Becky's backyard. It's like it's so unbelievable. How about that?
Becky? Yeah.
Yeah, so we did they shot that promo video obviously in the spring or the summertime once it was done. But yeah, GLC, they knocked it out of the park. That was a 2-year development in the making kind of thing. And we had it, designed, and it's really amazing that you can start something on a piece of paper and then to watch it come to life. But again, it's all about who you align yourself with.
But it's really about your family, right? You did
Yeah.
it because you have a close family, your kids, your wife, everybody's there, and you want to have everybody at your crib, don't you? You want to do it there.
Yes. I will say I will never install a pool ever again because, it's like, it's like when you build new construction, right? It's the things, right? It's the detail. It's literally was like redoing a whole nother room, but it's on the outside. So there's a lot of things. I learned a lot from it, right? You don't know.
But you can pass that on. You can pass that on to your clients. So when you do that, we always say Harvey's the king of the lakefront. Okay, and Becky's now the pool person. Harvey, she graduated. You used to be the pool guy too. But now Becky's the pool person. We've got a lot of people.
I'm with
up
Harvey
north.
though. Pools add value, but it's all about the individual,
There you go.
right? Because
your complex definitely would add value. There's no question about it.
because if I'm ever moving, I'm looking for a house that already has a pool, and that just
You don't want to do that again.
But it doesn't necessarily mean that it adds value for every property. It just depends.
Some people are like, I need to fill that in. I've had people fall in love with the property and be like,
And they
as an
fill it-
in-ground pool, and I don't want it.
Right.
Yep.
And they're like, I don't want to spend the money. So it's literally depends on the person.
We're getting closer to the end of the show. Again, if we didn't take your call here, call us at Capital Mortgage, 1-800-LOW-RATE. That's locally 1-800-569-7283. We'll hook you up. We offer every program. Down payment assistance, you need it. We got it. New construction, USDA, FHA, whatever it is, we're going to hook you up. Ed, those sellers need to take some good advice too. You guys are going out there and they're interviewing I'm interviewing for a real estate agent. I always thought one of the most important thing is that experience level. Ed, they need to take some good advice.
Experience and knowledge. You got to have that conversation. You set up an appointment. Have that agent come out and see your home, meet you, so you can at least, they have an in-person view of your home, and you can judge that agent if you click or not. Because guess what? You're not going to click with every agent, and you shouldn't. But you should take the time to at least meet an agent, have a conversation. What are they going to do for you? What are they recommending to you? Does it make sense to you?
Do they answer their phone?
Right.
Yeah. And what kind of knowledge are they bringing to the table when it comes to real estate?
Yeah.
You know, answering the hard questions for you the right way, not what you want to hear,
Yeah,
but
not
what
what
you
you
need
wanna
to
hear.
hear.
Yep.
And
Means your house might be worth $235, even though you think it's worth $255.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And a really good listing agent is going to explain to you, here's the comps.
Explain
This
it
is
to
what
'em.
it's really worth. I know you think it's worth, or you spent XYZ on it.
And this is what's going on in the market.
And this is what's going on in the
today.
market. So sometimes, a good agent isn't going to tell you what you want to hear.
Right.
They're going to tell you the truth.
Well, it's like when that caller called in and you talk to him about what he needs to do to upgrade the house. Maybe he needs to do nothing, but you're going to tell him, I need to paint that living room. You need to get rid of that orange carpeting. Or I heard orange is back, by the way, but I did. Maybe get rid of the orange Naugahyde couch that you have there because it's not looking too good. You have to have those conversations with people, and you're just advising them properly.
right.
All right, a quick second here. Be mindful of what you're clicking on buttons and talking to strangers. Folks, the scams are out there.
Right.
We see it on TV. Our buddy Hank Winchester, he's showing people are getting scammed. Don't talk to strangers. Don't answer phones. Call us at Capital Mortgage Funding, 1-800-LOW-RATE, the best mortgage banker. Thanking Patricia for coming in. And Ed, you guys are fantastic. Remax a clip. They got all sorts of offices all over Metro Detroit and lots of qualified and lots of experience. So you guys always, thanks for coming on the show with us.
Thanks for
Thank
having
you for
us.
having
All
us.
right, for Lisa Lawson, Harry Glanz, Becky Alley, I'm Harvey Freed. Pat Caputo, he's coming up with sports. Keep it here on 97.1 The Ticket. We'll see you next Saturday.